welcome to my channel and thank you for watching this video or visiting this video. Anyways, in this video I have something new that I'm going to try and I'm going to show you how to make this backpack. It was super easy to do. It's actually the first time I've ever made one. It is my first also sewing tutorial, so I don't know how it's going to turn out to you guys, and I'm so sorry. Please have mercy on me. Doing that, I just kind of wanted to give you an idea if you guys want to try it. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to embroider her name to the front of the backpack. If you don't have a embroidery machine, you can use a patch or a bow, or it can just be plain. I just wanted to add her name to it to add a special touch to it. And this is an old embroidery machine. I got it from my grandmother, and it's from 2000. But here on the side, it is a touch screen. I use floppy disk to use special characters like these letters, and that's my template of what I'm doing. And so on the bottom I have a thick stabilizer. Underneath is just what I had on hand, and on top I have a wash away, tear away stabilizer, and I just use that because I think it helps the threads lay better and just give it a pop. I just love this font. I ordered this font from an embroidery site online and downloaded it onto uploaded it onto my floppy disk. So I had to cut in between each letter, and then I'm going to pop this off the embroidery hook and cut around the stabilizer just to kind of give it a finished look. I will also iron on a stabilizer just to kind of give it a soft look, especially when you're rubbing into that backpack. Now the size that I did cut the fabric is 16 by 17, 16 across and 17 down, but you can make these into any size that you would like. You can add a few inches, or however big, however small you want to. You can shorten it, lengthen it. You can make it customizable to you. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make the straps for the backpack, and what I've done is I've cut 2 strips of fabric 3 inches wide by 66 inches long, and I folded the edges together, and then I folded the entire thing in half and ironed it. I gave it a good iron, and if you're making another size of backpack, all you need to do is do the width times 2 and the length times 2. Now I'm going to line my fabric up to sew at 1/8 of an inch toward the edge, and my needle is in the center position. Now I'm going to forward and back stitch to lock those stitches in place and just sew down the rest of the strap, and keeping it at a 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. When I got to the end, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to check and make sure that all of the stitches were in place and it got both sides of the fabric. Now I have turned my work, and I'm going to sew on the opposite side of the fabric, keeping with the 1/8 seam allowance. I'm going to forward backward stitch and just continue sewing all the way down till I get to the end. Yay, we've completed our straps, and now we're going to sew the backpack together. Okay, so what I've done is I've got 16 inches across and then 17 inches down. And I put the 2 sides, the good sides of the fabric, together. So we're going to sew on the inside of the fabric, or the bad side is what I say. And I'm going to measure 2.5 inches from the top, and I'm going to mark that line with a chalk pencil. Then I'm going to skip a space to allow for my strap to be weaved in there when I finish the backpack, and that's about a 1.5 inch opening, give or take a little bit. And I'm just going to mark that again because I don't want to sew that closed. So then I'm going to sew, giving it about a 1/2 inch seam allowance. You judge on how big the opening is, and if you have any questions, just hit me down below and I'll be happy to answer to the best that I can. Now I want to make sure that my stitches are lined up and I'm allowing enough space for that strap. And then sew about halfway down the backpack. And the reason why we're only going to sew halfway down is because we got to put those straps into the bottom of the backpack. What I've done is I've flipped the work over to do the same thing on the other side. And then I'm going to sew down halfway down the backpack. The fabric I'm using is a quilters cotton. If you're using some other materials, you might want to pin your work so there's no slipping. This stuck together just fine as I sewed down the length of this backpack. After finishing this off and cutting my thread, we are going to turn this backpack right side out. Now I'm going to go to the iron so I can iron this opening flat so that I can sew around it to put in a top stitch, and that'll just help it lay flat and give it some extra sturdiness around these openings. After I top stitch over this opening, I'm going to take my fabric over to the iron and iron the top part of the fabric about 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 an inch down. Then I'm going to fold over my fabric to where it covers that opening and iron that down. Now I'm going to sew around the opening of the backpack. And I'm going to sew about 1/8 of an inch to the edge, just where that groove is on my presser foot. Most presser foots have that groove, and I'm just going to align the fabric up with that and just sew around the top. Right, ta-da! We have just finished the top of the backpack. And now I'm going to cut my threads and then take my strap pieces and use a safety pin at the end of the strap piece and just kind of weave that in through the opening of one side of the backpack and go all the way around till it comes back out that opening. After I complete that side, I'm going to go in through the other side with the other strap and go all the way around through the other opening until it comes back out the same opening that I went into. After I weaved in the straps, I'm going to remove the safety pin and turn my backpack inside out. After that, we're going to lay our fabric straight, and then we're going to make sure our backpack straps are perfectly straight and not twisted, and bring them in at an angle about 1 inch toward the bottom of the backpack. Then we're going to line both the sides of the fabric together and sandwich those backpack straps in there and pin them in place. I'm going to do the same thing to the other side of the backpack. Again, make sure that those straps are not twisted up in there and make sure they're away from the seams. And then I'm going to bring them in at an angle 1 inch from the bottom and pin those in place as well. Now is our final step. We are going to sew about 1/2 an inch seam allowance all the way around the perimeter of the backpack. And when it comes to sewing over these backpack straps, we want to go forward and backwards a couple times just to give it some extra support so it doesn't rip the fabric. And then we're going to turn our work and sew down the bottom. Now I'm just going to repeat the same step on the other side of the backpack. Now we're finished, and I'm going to cut my threads, and then I'm going to cut those pieces that are coming out of the backpack just to kind of finish that up. We don't want those sticking in the backpack. And another thing I like to do is I like to trim my corners just so that my backpack or anything that I'm making will lay flat. It just gives the corners a finished look. And then I'm going to poke those corners out just like that. Ta-da! The backpack is complete. I'm so excited. And what this is this is a special gift for my daughter's little sis. My daughter's name is Taylor. She's the big sis. It's a drill team gift. But this can be done for any type of girl. And if you don't have an embroidery machine, there's other things that you can do, like a bow or a flower or a patch. And I'm just going to fold this up and wrap a bow around it and put it in the backpack. And I am finished. Okay, so what did you guys think? Let me know. Like I said, have mercy on me. Again, it's really easy, and I think it makes an adorable gift. And if you didn't want to do backpack straps on it, you wouldn't have to. You could just sew it all around and then just put the drawstrings in here and tie it into a drawstring bag. I really hope that you enjoyed this, and if you have any questions or if you want to see any other like projects or stuff, hit me down below and I will look into it and maybe we can do a video on it and maybe it'll be better. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching and you have a wonderful, blessed day. Bye-bye.